You did what I'm saying. If they all hollers, I'ma count it fast. Yeah, I wanted money, I couldn't enjoy class.
Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap. You know, the guy with one eye who came out in like 2015 with a few mega hits and then hasn't been heard of after mid 2016. Yeah, that guy. Well, today we're going to discuss why. Why did Fetty Wap fall off? And this video here today isn't going to be a discussion of if he did or if he didn't fall off, because you and I both know ain't nobody playing Fetty like that right now. And when your last few singles have flopped so hard that they should have been released on a floppy disk, and your last mixtape went triple plastic bubblegum wrapper, it's pretty clear that you aren't as on as you once were. This video right here is going to be pretty straightforward, as I think the case of Fetty's fall off is pretty simple. But enough talking and let's dive right in.
I'm gonna show you guys what happened to my fucking eye. Are you ready? Are you sure? Alright, look. One day, it was there, and then one day it fucking wasn't.
And let's first analyze Fetty's success. Fetty's success comes directly from hit songs, and what I mean by that is that his success and fanbase is built off the back of hit singles. Trap Queen, which was his first big breakout hit, was only the third song he ever recorded, and along with 679, which was another one of his huge singles in 2015, they were both released on his first mixtape ever. So there wasn't much time for Fetty to build a ground roots fanbase before blowing up in the mainstream. But when it was time for him to follow up all these hits with another project, the stakes were high and it needed to solidify his position. But it didn't. His debut album wasn't really received well critically or by his fans, and it largely came and went pretty fast. And yes, sure you can say his debut album went platinum, but considering how much streaming plays a role nowadays, it doesn't take much for an album to go platinum when you have 3 top 10 Billboard hits on the same damn album. Compare this to Lil Yachty and Lil Boat. When Lil Boat dropped, it seemed to complement Yachty's buzz, it elevated his wave and turned people into genuine Yachty fans as they began to see his appeal, and this proved vital in establishing a core fanbase, whereas Fetty's debut album just showed how one-dimensional and lacking Fetty really was, and served to hinder the development of his fanbase. Let's expand on Fetty's success and compare it to other artists who have found success but been able to stay relevant as time has gone on. Certain artists have had to slug it out through a long grind to get where they are today, so their success and relevance is built off the back of a dedicated fanbase that came through solid projects. So regardless of hits, they're going to be down with that artist because of the personal connection they've built with them over the years. Think of Boosie Badass. He came out in 2000 with his debut album, but had to grind out with several projects to really break through, and achieved his first Billboard chart as a main artist in 2006. But his last charting song as a main artist was in 2007. 10 years ago now. But still, in 2015 he released Touchdown to Cause Hell, an album that sold 59,000 in its first week, outdoing efforts by the Migos with Young Rich Nation and Young Thug's Barter 6 combined, both of which sold under 20,000 in their first week. I remember being on KTT around that time and everyone was so surprised, myself included. Why did Young Thug and the Migos sell so poorly, yet Boosie sold so well? But even though Boosie hasn't had a hit in what seems like forever in today's age, he has something like 40 to 50 projects in total and has been at it for well over a decade. So over that time he's been able to develop a dedicated fanbase who were with him before he even had a hit, so they're gonna stick by him even when he doesn't have those hits. And secondly, when he had the hits, he had the back catalogue to back up the hits and show people he wasn't just some one-hit wonder. He built success off his projects and had to grind years before a hit came, whereas comparably Fetty didn't have that fanbase from solid projects to back up the hits initially, and he didn't follow up the hits with a solid project either, so that led to his fans coming for the hits and going when the hits were done, as they didn't feel compelled to stick with Fetty for his projects. But this doesn't only apply to OGs in the game who have been at it for over 10 years. Let's try compare Fetty to someone who has had quick mainstream success, and this point will dial in on the one-dimensional aspect to his sound.
I just got a couple things I just want to know. Nothing crazy. Where's the fucking weed, man? Huh? Who has it, man? Where's the fucking gas, man?
Listen to Fetty's album and it sounds like a bunch of tracks that were made to just recreate any number of his hit singles. And furthermore, even his recent singles that have done very poorly either sound like a poor Lil Uzi Vert imitation, or once again have an insufferable amount of babies and yeahs added in to try to create that My Way magic one more time. Contrast this with someone like Post Malone. When he came out with White Iverson in 2015, there was a lurking sentiment that he had one style and he was going to be yet another one-hit wonder, so give him a year, toss him out, and we will be on to the next. In this sense, his fast ascent to mainstream superstardom and the skepticism people had about his staying power can be compared to Fetty's, but what he's been able to do from there is where their storylines differ. Fast forward 2 years and Post has another hit, 2 solid projects, and his fanbase right now is stronger than it ever has been before. Whereas comparably, Fetty hasn't had a hit for a minute, and his recent projects saw a huge decline in his fanbase. Why? While Post Malone has proven he can not only do multiple styles, but he can do them well. Although initially I felt like on certain songs he was simply trying to remake White Iverson, it became clear on August 26 in Stony he was an incredibly talented artist, and was more than a one-trick pony. He didn't rely on one particular sound, instead he branched out, ranging from things like traditional trap, to R&B, to dancehall, to even rock. And regardless of critical reception, these projects were received greatly by fans, and have been getting love continually even after they have been released. Thus, although Post Malone initially garnered his fanbase through hits, he was able to make them stay around and interested just past his hits, due to his great projects that showed diversity, whereas Fetty, although like Post built his fanbase off of hits, was unable to translate these casual fans to dedicated listeners due to a lack of range and a poorly received follow-up project. And this is why we see the biggest song on Fetty's recent tape only having 300k plays on SoundCloud, and his last several singles failing to connect.
Motherfuckers keep asking me, where's my eye? Man, that shit is on fucking vacation.
This video may seem like I'm hating on Fetty quite a bit, but I don't really hate Fetty or his music. I just think he's become pretty stagnant musically. So finishing up the video, Fetty's decline can be attributed to a few things. Firstly, the lack of strong projects initially means that he didn't have an established fanbase before the hits, that would then stick around and stay by Fetty's side after the hits came and went. Secondly, tying in with the first point is the inability to follow up such fast mainstream success with a diverse and solidifying project that would create a fanbase dedicated to the artist and personality of Fetty Wap. Meant that his fans became dedicated to Fetty Wap the hitmaker, so when those hits dried up, so did their attention for Fetty. And lastly, the inability to progress his sound past an already done to death formula meant that the music he released after his debut album has not connected and resonated in the way that his original hits did, leading to a string of unsuccessful singles and a mixtape that did poorly. And overall, I think it was a combination of these factors that have led to the gradual decline of Fetty Wap. Alright guys, that's all from me today. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you thought about the video, and let me know what you think led to Fetty Wap falling off. Please like, subscribe, and follow me on all social media for more.
It's a neighborhood band man. It's the neighborhood band man.